Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. And once again, Merry Christmas to all of you out there. Hope you all had a good Christmas. I had a good Christmas today. Went over to my aunt and uncle's house, spent some time with the family. We ate dinner, and they had dessert. We had dessert, and then we came home. Came home early because some of my family members have to work tomorrow. So it was a pretty good Christmas with the family. And received before I start the review, I received some gifts from my aunt and uncle and my cousins. This is WWE stuff. So, but I received a Finn Balor shirt where it says Demon Resurrection on it, which is cool. Then on the back, you have Finn Balor. So it's a pretty cool shirt. And then also received from my aunt, this is another figure from the Elite 52 series. And it's one that I wanted to also get. And as Ken Shamrock, which I really like. I really like the robe. The face scan is meh to me, but it's still a cool looking figure though. Really like it. Here's the back to it. And this was his ring attire from In Your House from May '97. So it's pretty cool. Been wanting that. And also received WWE Network 3-month gift card. Good for 3 months. So those three gifts I received from my aunt and uncle. Really appreciate it. Glad that they got me that they got me this. So, but all in all, I had a good Christmas. It was a good Christmas. And so I know I said I was going to do this review. I was going to review Raw and SmackDown sometime earlier in the week, like maybe like Wednesday, Thursday, or maybe Friday. But I was home in time. I caught Raw, watched it, and I thought tonight's show. I thought it was just not that. It was not good of a show. I thought it was I thought it was a shitty show, in my opinion. Some of the matches they were like crap, but there were some that I sort of enjoyed though, but didn't save. Some of the matches that I enjoyed didn't save the show. From it being a solid or a decent show. And this is the first time that they went live on Christmas. This has never been done before, and I kind of feel bad for the superstars because they couldn't spend Christmas with their families, and it would have been better if they taped the show and aired it. If they taped it last week and then aired it on Christmas, so it'd be good for the superstars to to be home and celebrate Christmas with their families. But it wasn't WWE's idea for Raw to go live. It was actually USA's idea, which is pretty bad idea in my opinion. You should have had the superstars take off and spend Christmas with their families. So, but at least the superstars get some holiday pay for this. So. But the show opened up with John Cena coming out, and he comes out, he says, "Oh, I got to fix something," and he ends up getting out of the ring, and he ends up giving his new gear, his new clothing, or with the green hat and the green shirt, and he gives it to a young fan in the crowd. Had the fan had was like a disability, had like a disability. But it was pretty nice of Cena to do that. And he comes out there, he wishes everybody Merry Christmas. He said, he loves the holidays, because it's about togetherness. And he goes on to say the WWE is his home and his family. And then he gets interrupted by Elias. He gets interrupted by him. Elias comes out saying to Cena, does he know what WWE stands for? And he says to him, WWE stands for, walk with Elias. Huh? Wow. And he goes on to say that, Elias goes on to say that he's had enough of getting interrupted all the time. And Elias, starts singing about Christmas in Chicago. The crowd, what I really loved was the crowd booed the hell out of him. And they were chanting CM Punk. And, Elias was like, oh yeah, CM Punk is not here to help, you all stop my, stop my performance or something like that. But that's what pretty much happened. The crowd booed the hell out of Elias because because tonight's Raw was in Chicago. So, and then Elias sings. Cena interrupts him and says, when Elias always plays, when he's always singing, he always calls the crowd jerks. And Cena ends up telling Elias that he is actually the one who was being a jerk. And the crowd really cheered for that. And we had Elias saying that he wanted to sing, that song again, if the crowd, gave him a second chance, and the crowd was still booing the hell out of him. And Elias ends up singing again. Cena tells him, to take it away, have him do the singing, and then, Cena sings, and we see just Elias cheap shot Cena with a punch, and, he knocks out Cena. Elias says, Christmas is overrated, and, he says, Chicago is overrated too. And we just see Elias then just stomping away at Cena, and he goes on to say that he's going to challenge Cena to a match right now. So that pretty much ended the segment. And the first hour of Raw was commercial free, which they didn't have any commercials playing for the first hour. And so it ended up being the first match, John Cena versus Elias. Pretty boring match. This match was really shitty. It was just Cena just making Elias look strong. Like, Cena kept on getting his ass beat by Elias throughout this match. And it was just overlong. It was boring, terrible. And it felt like it went on forever. And the crowd, wasn't really into it as well. Nobody in the crowd gave a shit about this match. And in the end, Cena came back like 20 minutes into the match. He kept on just getting his ass beat by Elias. At one point, Cena had Elias in the STF, and he tried to pull Elias back, and Elias just reversed it, and Cena kept on getting his ass kicked once again. And at the end of the match, Cena hits the 5-knuckle shuffle on Elias, and then he hits the AA, the attitude adjustment, on Elias to score the win. And so Cena wins the match, and I'm like, wow, Cena got his ass kicked throughout this whole match, and he won the match just like that in the end. I'm like, come on. It was a terrible match. It was boring, shitty. Didn't like it. It felt like it went on forever. And then after that, we had Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan, Seth Rollins in Kurt's office. Seth says, he wants Joe tonight. Jason says that, tells him that he's waiting patiently for, him to have a match with Joe. And Kurt Angle says to both of them that it's going to be them, Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins, facing Cesaro and Sheamus tonight for the Raw Tag Team titles. So, and, Kurt Angle says, "Oh, Merry Christmas" to both of them. And then we see Roman Reigns come in, and Kurt tells him Joe is all his tonight, and it's going to be a match for the Intercontinental title. So, but it was a pretty okay segment. Wasn't perfect or great though. And then we had after that, Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher were out. Brian Kendrick was talking about Hideo Itami's debut, and he says that him and Jack Gallagher want to find out about Hideo firsthand. So Brian Kendrick was pretty much talking shit about Hideo Itami, and eventually led to the match Hideo Itami versus Brian Kendrick. This was another match that didn't really care for. The crowd wasn't really into it as well. Another match that the crowd was silent throughout. So, but just nothing that good happened in the match. Hideo Itami won the match with the GTS to go to sleep on Brian Kendrick to score the win. So, but it was not a match that was pretty shitty, in my opinion. Then after that, we saw Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Mickie James walk in, and Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel approach them, and they sing to them, Miz is awesome, and how they miss Miz in one of the Christmas songs. So it was pretty dreadful. Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel singing. Didn't find it funny. It was fucking dreadful. And this is not the first time tonight that we see them doing this. But it was pretty terrible. And then we had next match, Absolution. Paige, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose versus Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Mickie James. Once again with them. And this was a decent match. It wasn't terrible. I actually kind of enjoyed it. And it was back and forth between them. You had Bayley and Sasha do a suplex to Sonya Deville, which was pretty good. At the end of the match, you had Bayley hitting the Bayley to belly on Paige, and then as Bayley was going to score the pin, she gets dragged out of the ring by Sonya Deville, and it was just Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose being down on Bayley. Sasha and Mickie end up coming to the rescue, and then just beating the hell out of Sonya and Mandy, and basically it led to Paige getting the win. She hit the Rampage on Bayley to score the win for Absolution once again. And so this stable, this Absolution is being, is pretty dominant so far. Paige and Sonya and Mandy, they're dominated, which is pretty good. I have to say they're doing a whole lot better than the Riot Squad on SmackDown, which I'll admit to that. Yeah, and then after that we had Renee Young interviewing Samoa Joe about does Joe have any remorse of what he did to Dean, to what he did to Dean last week? And Joe says, he doesn't have any remorse of what he did to Dean, and that Dean is home for the holidays, enjoying the holidays. And Joe says he's going to put Roman in a nightmare tonight when he wins the Intercontinental title tonight. So it was a pretty decent interview with Joe. Then we had, after that, we had Kane versus Heath Slater. Another match that was pretty shitty. It was just Kane just taking out Heath Slater. Heath Slater kept on going out of the ring. He was like, "Oh, I don't want to face Kane," like he was scared to face Kane, and it got a cheer from the crowd saying, "Oh, you have kids, you have kids." But it eventually led to Kane hitting the choke slam on Heath Slater to score the win. And after the match, Kane tried to choke slam Rhino, and we saw Rhino then start taking out Kane. Rhino then tries to go for the gore, but Kane counters it and choke slams Rhino. But the match was pretty shitty. What was really cool that I forgot to mention in the women's match, Bayley and Sasha were over with the crowd. Everybody was chanting for them. Bayley got like the hugest chants, which that was pretty awesome. Then after the Kane versus Heath Slater match, we saw, lo and behold, Curt Hawkins is out. Saying that he needs to tell himself, he was telling himself to face the facts. And, he says, how this year hasn't been kind to, his win, to his win-loss record that he had. And, he goes on to say that it'll be a Christmas miracle tonight if he wins the match. And he issues an open challenge to anyone to face him. And, he hopes his losing streak comes to an end. And who you think his opponent may be? Yeah. It was Finn Balor. Oh, just more and more. More and more they're giving Finn Balor crap. Crappy competition. This is poor booking for Balor. He deserves more than this. And this match was it was also another shitty match. Where Finn was just taking control throughout the whole entire match, just being down on Hawkins. Because Hawkins is a jobber. And we all know who wins this match. Yeah, so Finn Balor wins the match, hit the coup de grace on Hawkins. Hawkins' losing streak still continues. So moving on, any match that Curt Hawkins is in, he's gonna lose the match because he ain't nothing but a jobber. So, and then we saw both Alice and Curtis Axel walk in, and they see Goldust there, and they sing Goldust a Miss Carol, which was another dreadful singing of theirs. And I'll admit, something that was funny was that they gave Goldust a copy of Santa's Little Helper. Was the movie with that he did with that Miz was in, and Paige was also in it. Didn't watch the movie at all though, but what was funny is that Bo and Curtis walk off, and then we see Titus O'Neil, Dana Brooke, and Apollo Crews come. Goldust ends up giving Titus the DVD, the Santa's Little Helper DVD with Miz and Paige on it. And what was really funny is I think Goldust like sort of freaked out Titus, and Titus got so freaked out that the DVD flew, that he threw the DVD and it flew, which was funny though. But the whole Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel singing is still fucking dreadful, absolutely shitty. So, and then we had probably the best segment of the night, in my opinion, where Bray Wyatt ends up cutting a promo about Matt Hardy, saying how Matt Hardy's surrounded by darkness and by his fireflies, by Bray Wyatt's darkness and his fireflies, and he goes on to say how Matt Hardy is surrounded by Sister Abigail, and then Bray Wyatt ends up making his way out. He makes his way to the ring. As he blows out the lantern. We see Matt Hardy come out of nowhere, and he shows up and he starts taking out Bray. And then Bray then ends up escaping out of the ring. Nothing to do with Matt. And he gets on the mic. Matt Hardy gets on the mic and starts acting crazy, like with the him doing the whole Woken thing, which was pretty funny. I actually like this. I love this Woken gimmick with Matt Hardy. Really glad that he got the rights to do it. Because it was his own creation though. I can't wait to see the match between them both, Bray and Matt. I think it's going to be a good match, but like I said, maybe we'll probably see it at the Royal Rumble. Who knows? Maybe Royal Rumble. I know they probably can't drag it to WrestleMania, so maybe Bray and Matt are going to go one-on-one at the Rumble. Can't wait to see how that match is going to pan out. And then after that, we had Cesaro and Sheamus. They're in the locker room. Sheamus gets Cesaro a present. Gives Cesaro a present. Cesaro opens it up, and it turns out to be the brand new Dean Ambrose Elite. And pretty much it was basically just them. Just Cesaro getting the Ambrose Elite. Cesaro then gave Sheamus a present, which had two figures in it. The first was the Seth Rollins, the new Seth Rollins Elite, and then Sheamus lists up the last one. It's actually a Jason Jordan Elite. It was the then, now, and forever Elite of Jason Jordan, when he still had it came with the NXT tag team title when he was the NXT tag team champion along with Chad Gable, when they were still American Alpha. So, but it was just a promotion for the elites. So, but I like Cesaro and Sheamus gave me some ideas to get those elites. I want to get that Dean Ambrose Elite. The Seth Rollins one may pick up, but the Jason Jordan one, I know I probably want to get. So it was pretty much basically that. It was just promotion for the elites. And then we had Enzo Amore coming out with Drew Gulak and Arya Daivari, saying Merry Christmas to the crowd, because this match was a 6-man tag Miracle on 34th Street fight that they do every year. So Enzo was out there with Drew Gulak and Daivari, saying Merry Christmas to the crowd, and then he just starts talking shit to Cedric, saying that that Cedric is going to have a horrible Christmas, and that he looked and that Cedric looked into all the gifts and found, Cole. And he says that the three of them are going to give Cedric, Alexander, Akira Tozawa, and Mustafa Ali a beatdown. And that pretty much what led to the match, which happened. So it was a 6-man tag team Miracle on 34th Street fight. This match was actually kind of fun. I thought it was a very fun match. It wasn't perfect or great by any means, but it was a fun match. The kendo sticks, going around, like the sticks that they have that look like the candy canes. They end up hitting them. You had them throwing plates, hitting them with plates, and cookies were flying off the plate. But Cedric Alexander, Akira Tozawa, and Mustafa Ali got the win, with Cedric Alexander hitting the lumbar check on Daivari to score the win. So, but it was a fun match. I said it wasn't great or perfect by any means, but it was fun. Kind of enjoyed the hell out of it. So, and then after that we had Enzo Amore. He met with Nia backstage, and Nia wishes him a Merry Christmas, and we see a mistletoe hanging above Enzo and Nia, and Enzo says to her, what do we got over here? A mistletoe? And it looked like they were about to kiss, and then Alexa comes and breaks it up, and tells her, tells Nia, let's go, I gotta talk about, the women's battle royal. So, but it was just that little backstage segment with Enzo and Nia. And then we had Renee Young interviewing Roman Reigns about his reaction to what Joe's statement earlier tonight. Roman ends up saying to her that he could care less about what Joe says, and he says that he's not leaving Chicago without his Intercontinental title, and he goes on to say if anyone hits his brothers Seth and Dean, he will destroy them. So it's a decent interview with Roman. And then it was the match. Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental title. This match, it was decent. It was back and forth between Joe and Roman. Both these guys gave it all they got. But Samoa Joe got the win by disqualification, because of Roman. And after the match, Roman then hit Joe with 2 Superman punches, and he also hit Joe with the steps outside the ring. The refs had to come and break them up. So, but all in all, it was a decent match. So, and then we had Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan backstage. Seth says, he hopes, it's not a situation where, Jason just goes out there and brags, about, wanting Joe. And Jason says to Seth, he makes a good replacement for Dean, and that kind of made Seth a little bit pissed off. And Seth says to Jason that he will never be Dean Ambrose, which is true. So, but it was a pretty good backstage segment with Seth and Jason. And then we had Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel out there once again. They were trying to sing another, Christmas Miz Carol thing. And they get interrupted by Braun Strowman. And so it was eventually Braun Strowman versus Bo and Curtis. Pretty much this was a hilarious match, just by how shitty it was. It was just Strowman just taking out both Bo and Curtis. He hit Braun Strowman won the match because Braun hit a running power slam on Bo to score the win. Then after the match, he hits Curtis Axel with a running power slam, and he gives one more to Bo and one more to Curtis after that. So Strowman just laid down the both of them. So I mean, it was hilarious, seeing Strowman just destroy Bo and Curtis. I mean, the match was shitty though, but it was so shitty it was funny. Though. And then after that, we had Alexa Bliss coming out saying, "Oh, Merry Bliss, Miss," and she says, she goes on to say that she started this year as being the SmackDown Women's Champion, and she's going to end the year as still being the Raw Women's Champion. And she ends up saying to the women and the crowd that she is welcome because everything that happened is because of her. With the women's battle royal coming up. So, and then she ends up saying that she will be watching to see who wins this women's Royal Rumble. So, and then Asuka ends up coming out and says, she's entering the women's Royal Rumble, and she will win because nobody is ready for her. And she then ends up kicking Alexa. So, it's pretty obvious that Asuka was going to be in the this women's Royal Rumble. I think I said Battle Royal before, but yeah, correction though, women's Royal Rumble. So, yeah, it was a pretty good. It was a pretty decent segment with Alexa. A little bit hype. Because maybe Asuka will win this women's Royal Rumble. Perhaps she might win the title. She might win the women's Royal Rumble, go on to WrestleMania, win the Raw Women's title at Mania. But we'll have to see how that goes. But a lot of people are saying that Asuka might win this women's Royal Rumble. And then we had the main event, Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins versus Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw tag team titles. And this was a pretty decent main event. It was enjoyable. It was back and forth between them. Then in the end, you had Jason Jordan win the match fair and square. So now Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins are the new Raw Tag Team Champions, which was pretty shocking, though. That was pretty unexpected that Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins were going to win the Raw Tag Team titles tonight. So it was pretty shocking. Did not see that coming. So, but all in all, it was a decent main event. It was very enjoyable. Happy that Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins, Jason Jordan's first title on Raw that he won, which it would suck to be Chad Gable right now. Chad Gable's probably pissed as hell that Jason Jordan won a tag team title and with Seth Rollins. Because Jason Jordan now is a two-time, he's a one-time NXT tag team champion, one half former NXT tag team champion with Chad Gable when they were with American Alpha, and now he's the one half of the Raw tag team champions with Seth Rollins, which was unexpected, like I said. So yeah, so like I said, it was a pretty decent main event. It was enjoyable. So, yeah, so anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and not going to review SmackDown tomorrow night. I'll probably review it sometime this week. So there will be no SmackDown review tomorrow night. So yeah. So anyways, until that video, my SmackDown review, I'll see you all later. Bye.